Friends, fans, and family of Back Nine Bets. It is episode 25, PGA Championship. Yes, sir. It is the PGA Championship for those of you that aren't a big fan of Cameron Smith, who's going to be winning this. Surprise, surprise. It's Bob Ross week. That's why we got the hat on. That's why we got the wig. Actually, I grew this hair out just for fun, but it's Bob Ross week. We're playing at TPC Southern Hills. Playing at Southern Hills Golf Course. It is a stunning venue. It's a venue that we don't see regularly. It's a venue that's going to wreak havoc. It's a venue that's going to entertain us. It's a venue that is just going to make the next 4 days of golf viewing blissful. And I cannot wait. So let's get into the mix. Not a great week last week. Very average, below average actually. Let's move on. It's the PGA Championship. We took down the last goddamn major. Let's freaking do it again. PGA Championship, episode 25. Welcome to Back Nine Bets. If you're watching on Twitter and you're going to stay, go onto YouTube and watch it and give it a click. Please. Love you all for that. All right. Without further ado, let's get into some business here. Okay. Let me get out of the picture even because we don't want to see my face while we got nice things here. All right. So, as we said, there are no statistics available for this golf course, so we had to make them ourselves. So what I did is I used my genius brain and I took the yardage of every golf hole and I just subtracted the average 310 yards from that yardage to get a proximity range for your approach. Obviously, we don't do that for a par 3 because you're teeing off from a stipulated yardage already. So what happened? We got given a few proximity ranges. For the most part, we got about 61% from 175 and in. So that's going to be where we're kind of looking this week. We got some long holes, the par 3, there's some 3 par 3s that are over 200 yards, some long ones. Got some big old long par 3s. But the most of the holes, if you're hitting your drive around about 300 yards, you're going to be looking at a casual 170 to 100 yards and in. There's some par 5s. The 2 par 5s that are on this golf course are going to be 3-shot holes. You cannot reach these par 5s if you're an average length golfer. Even these, they're 632 yards. That's a 330-yard drive and then a 300-yard approach shot. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Not even Bob Ross can do that stuff. So it's a 3-shotter. So that's why we've got the repeat of the par 5s up top here in the 75 to 100-yard range. So as always, we took that and we threw it right into our model, our settings for the week. And there they are. We got some nice, sexy proximity numbers. Yeah, we got a good, 11% of proximities from that little previous chart that we just had. I'm going to move myself back in here so this is bigger. And then we have just general approach play at 13%. We've just got recent approach play for the last 24 rounds at 5% for total approach to get to 35. That's critical around this golf course. Very important stuff. These greens are tiny. They're shaped like tortoise shells. They're shaped like this wig. It's going to be difficult to hit these greens. And when you miss them, your ball's going to be rolling away. It's going to be tough to keep it nearby. You're going to have to chip fantastically. Justin Thomas was saying in his interview today, chipping on Bermuda grass is very challenging. It's very sticky. You have to have a very specific skill set, a very specific technique in order to execute these chips around the green. So watch out. There's going to be a lot of chili dippers. A lot of chili dippers on this golf course at Southern Hills. Going to be lots of beans and meat around the greens. Then putting, just general putting, 3%. Specific putting on bent grass over the last 50 rounds. That's what these greens are, bent. Very important to stipulate that they're putting on a bent surface this week. And then we want guys that are putting well lately. The last 24 rounds, 5%. Bogey avoidance, very important here. Obviously, it's going to be a very difficult major venue. Scores are going to be low. We just want guys that somehow get the ball in the hole for a par. However they do it, I don't care. Ask no questions, hear no lies. Bogey avoidance, essential. Par 5 scoring, I don't know why that's 5. I was actually thinking about changing that prior. Let's go with this now. Shouldn't change too much apart from looks like Victor Hovland just flew down the leaderboard. Anyway, so that's what's going on there. We've got off the tee for 10%, good drives gain for 5%, and then recent off the tee game for another 5% to give us a total of 20% driving. I think ball striking critical, and then around the green play, all elements. It's a major. Got to have every single aspect of the game has to be clutch. So then we have those proximity ranges. So let's get out of this. Let's get to the model. There we go. I'm going to do this as always so that we can see what's going on. Scotty Scheffler's ownership's 19% and Jon Rahm's is 12%. That's what's going in this column over here that you can't see. So we're just going to kind of deal with it. All right. So let's do this thing. It is the PGA Championship, and we've got Scotty Scheffler at $11,400 on DraftKings. I think he stands a fantastic chance of winning this golf tournament. Everything about his game is in fantastic shape, at least for the last 24 rounds. The model did not have Scotty Scheffler playing this well last year, and 60% of our stats are from 2021. So he never won any tournaments last year. So he hasn't really caught up. So that's why he's only the 7th ranked guy in the model. However, last 24 rounds, he has gained the most strokes in the field. So that's obviously why he's 11-4, 19% owned. I think he's going to be an incredible player to have. And he's not the highest owned in the field. We've got a certain Jordan Spieth that's at 24%, who I think is going to be an absolute menace. So that's what's going on there. Scotty Scheffler does everything you can ask for. Off the tee, recently not as good, but it's okay. It's above average. That's fine. Recent approach play, 9th. Around the greens, exactly what you're looking for here. Scotty Scheffler's first in the field. Recent putting, 24th. Doesn't necessarily putt that great on bent compared to his putting baseline, but they haven't played a lot of golf on bent. And guess what? Augusta is bent greens. He just won at Augusta. So I'm not too concerned about Scotty Scheffler's putting on bent grass. We'll be going to him in DFS. Absolutely. I think he's a fantastic play this week. Absolutely fantastic. Jon Rahm, on the other hand, second guy in the model. He is 11-2, and he's justifiably 12% owned. Right over here is that 12% ownership, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Johnny Rahm at this golf course is going to be chipping a fair share because he hits his ball into the wedge range proximities. This column right here is less than 175 yards and in. And as you can tell, we've got Justin Thomas and Colin Morikawa that are absolute beasts from that range. Yes, they are beasts. They're the two best players in the field from inside 175. Jon Rahm is outside the top 50. And that is going to hurt his chances tremendously. He overpowers golf courses. He is a very, very good ball striker when it comes to 175 and out. At this golf course, 6 out of 10 shots are most likely coming from 175 and in. And Jon Rahm isn't very good from that range. His recent approach play hasn't been that fantastic either. He did just win in Mexico at a golf course that we saw the proximity ranges were massive. He's hitting in 5 irons, hitting in 7 irons all the time. Put a wedge in Jon Rahm's hand, and he cannot hit a green to save his life. So that's what's going on with Jon Rahm. We're going to be fading him 11-2. Scotty Scheffler's our guy up the top there. Justin Thomas, 10-7. I would have loved to have bet Justin Thomas, but just too expensive. Then we're going to go to him in DFS. I've built lineups with Scotty Scheffler and Justin Thomas in it, and it makes complete sense. There's lots of guys I like down the 7K range. Justin Thomas just finished top 5 last week. He is 4th in the field over the last 24 rounds, strokes gained total. So he is just in exceptional form. My only concern with him is pretty much the same as Scotty, where they have a bit of an issue off the tee right now. There's creeks and there's removed trees. So I don't know how much, since they've removed the rough at this golf course, if that creek that's meandering through every freaking hole on the course is going to come into play. Bob Ross's hat seems to think otherwise. Doesn't think that accuracy is that big of a factor this week. Just strokes gained off the tee. If you're just a powerhouse off the tee, go ahead and smash it. Just keep it within the realm of the golf course. So if JT can do that, hopefully the rest of his game is in fantastic shape. From 175 and in, he's the best in the field. Duh. He's one of the best approach players from any distance. And he is an exceptional iron player recently as well. So that is just everything about Justin Thomas's approach play is stunning. We've got blue and pink all over the place. Around the green, very, very solid. It's difficult to get this around the green ranking way up there because he hits so many goddamn greens. It's a cumulative stat. If you miss the green, you can only gain strokes around the green. If you're not missing greens, you can't gain any strokes. So that's what Justin Thomas's situation is. So just bear that in mind. Everyone hits approach shots. So that's why those are a lot more reliable stats. But it's a good benchmark. He's very good still around the greens. Baseline putting, very average stuff. Very average stuff. However, we've noticed recently Justin Thomas is putting much better. He's been gaining on the putting surfaces for the last 24 rounds now. Changed his putter to a prototype Scotty Cameron recently, and that is coming in clutch. He's also a much better putter on bent grass than he is on all surfaces. So he's got good putting that's going to a surface that he just came from. He just played on bent grass, putted well on that. Now he's going to another bent surface. We can expect good things. 19% ownership from Justin Thomas. 10-7. You can definitely put JT and Scotty in a lineup together. You can put Colin and Scotty in a lineup together. You can put Colin and JT in a lineup together, which we will be doing. So that's kind of, especially if Colin is 11%. I love Colin here. He's around the green game, very, very mediocre. Before we go there, let's actually get to the actual crux of the matter here. This is back nine bets. Colin Morikawa for a top 20 is minus 110 on BetMGM. They pay ties in full. Go and get yourself a free Colin Morikawa top 20. His last 5 majors, he's finished inside the top 20. The guy nuts up when it comes to majors. He is clutch city. He does not fear the limelight. He does not fear becoming a superstar. He's won 2 majors as well. So anytime he steps into an arena of the most grand proportions, Colin Morikawa is there. So I'm not even worried about his around the green game in majors because he's just so freaking clutch. Remember the British Open? The guy was fantastic around and on the greens. He was making putts from all over the place. So let's see. He's also the second best from 175 and in. Gotta love that about Colin. And his approach play is the best in the field over the last 2 years. So, I mean, you know what you're getting there. His driver is super accurate. The majority of his good drives gained, he's third in the field. His distance is a little lacking. However, he makes up for that by just pounding fairways, pounding it 4 days. He's just in the fairway all the time. So that's what Colin Morikawa is up to. He's 10-4, 11% owned. I'm not sure why. The guy's won more majors than all. We got Scotty Scheffler just won a major and Jon Rahm just won a major. JT hasn't won one. Rory hasn't won one recently. Victor hasn't won one recently. Cameron Smith was close. Jordan hasn't won. So it's been a long time for these boys at the top for majors. So one of these is going to get it this week, and it's Cameron Smith. But we also have a Colin Morikawa free future bet that we placed, and that's a nice little, insurance policy. So we're going to Colin Morikawa there. Rory McIlroy is in a very similar situation as Jon Rahm. He does the majority of his scoring off the tee. He's fourth in the field there. Him and Jon Rahm both. I don't think they're going to gain off the tee because they're long, they're accurate. But the problem with Rory is his approach play is not in the same realm as Justin, Colin, and even Scotty right now. He's 27th over the last 24 rounds. He gets really jumpy in majors. And when he gets inside the 175-yard range, it's a problem for him. He's 19th in the field, yes, but if you're going to win this tournament, you got to be able to hit these greens tight. These flags are going to be tucked. They are dangerously positioned. I just don't have confidence in Rory McIlroy that he's going to be hitting his approach shots the way that Colin and JT and Scotty will be doing, and even Cameron Smith as well. So that is me saying that I'm out on a 20% owned Rory McIlroy. Putting, nice, around the green game, very solid. He's going to need that more than most of these guys at the top that we like, because he's going to be missing more greens than them. And it's going to be in a major. He's going to be nervy. We know how he gets. Victor Hovland is one of the worst chippers and bunker players in the field. There's 80-something bunkers. There's 18 holes of Bermuda tight surfaces that he's going to be having to chip off of. It could be a goddamn catastrophe out there for him. It could also not be, because he is recently the best approach player in the field. So I don't necessarily know if you want to fade a guy like that. How are you fading a Victor Hovland who is going to be absolutely crushing it down off the tee? He's just a freak off the tee. He's a freak on approach. He's very decent from inside 175. And let me just say, Rory from inside 175 is okay. We're looking for studs up top here. We're looking for difference makers. We're looking for the guys that can do it. So I'm not necessarily a fan of Rory McIlroy's approach play. Victor Hovland's very, very nice. And if he can hit a lot more greens, the chipping is going to maybe be an issue, but not as often. So we'll see what he can do. He's been putting quite nicely lately. Not necessarily the best proponent on bent. $9,900 and under 10% owned is beautiful. So I'm not entirely sure what to do with Victor. That's why he's not necessarily highlighted, but it is what it is. Cameron Smith, baby. I meant to get a Scotty Scheffler future on him, a Scotty Scheffler future for this tournament, and I clicked Cameron Smith by accident. My subconscious typically outperforms my conscience, so I'm not necessarily too worried about that. We have Cameron Smith at plus 100 for a top 20 at MGM. Guys paid in full. We absolutely got roasted by dead heat rules last week. We had Seamus Power and Jason Kokrak all finish inside the top 20, but we only got paid a quarter of our return because dead heat rules absolutely roasted us. Ties paid in full at BetMGM. Go check them out. They are fantastic when it comes to those things. And their odds are even better than FanDuel and DraftKings right now. Cameron Smith, 45-1 to win the PGA Championship and his very first major. Came very, very close to beating Scotty Scheffler last major at Augusta. We'll see. The X factor for Cam is off the tee. It is going to be a major, major, major concern for him if he can't stay in the ballpark. He's going to have to get his driver together. The rest of his game, I have got zero doubts in. It's everything else is top tier. Recent approach play, second, behind Victor Hovland, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Russell Henley. These are good ball strikers. Cam Smith, second in the field. Over the last 6 months, he's first in approach play. He's fantastic from inside 175. Around the green, well, need I say, 20th almost doesn't seem just, because whenever he's around the green, it is a magic show. Baseline putting, the best player in the field, and he's easily one of the best putters in the top of the board here. Last 24 rounds, 6th best putting ranking. Bent green last 50, not necessarily ideal, but still very, very good. One of the best putters on bent up top here. $9,700 and he's only 14% owned. Let's go to Cam Smith. He's going to make a lot more birdies than most guys as well. So that's going to be an enjoyable facet of his game that I think a lot of people might underlook. He's going to be making bogeys. Don't get me wrong. That snap hook is coming in hot. It's coming in heavy. It's coming in from right to left, and it's going to be ferocious. It just needs to not appear more than we want it. So, Cameron Smith, 45-1 to win the PGA Championship. First round leader, 40-1 as well. Top 20, plus 100. Ties paid in full at BetMGM. Cannot say enough about Cameron Smith. Cannot gush about the rest of his game other than just the atrocity that is his driving. So if his driver does not show up this week to any degree, it's going to be a short one for him. So he needs to figure that out. Absolutely needs to figure it out. Other than that, we're all good. Jordan Spieth. We have Jordan Spieth written up in our Breaking 100 article, rotoballer.com. It's pinned on my Twitter account at The Model Maniac. You know, if you're watching this show, you know who I am. Go check it out. Jordan Spieth is going to also possibly win this golf tournament. I have got a situation in my life where we have these are our outrights. We've got Sam Burns, who I have zero faith that he's going to win this thing. We have these three I love. So I might actually just cash these 2 tickets out. They're futures, they're cashable, outable, if that makes sense at all. And I'm going to go in the deep end with a Jordan Spieth ticket. I found one for 20 to 1 on Caesars. Cannot write him up, and we cannot not bet him. So we have to go with JT, Jordan. That's a bit of a sub-Freudian, so whatever that is. Okay. So Jordan Spieth, the guy's a freak show. He's been playing fantastic golf. His last 2 events have been a first and a second. He is putting very, very poorly right now. He did gain putting for the first time in Lord knows how long at the event that he just finished second at. Going to a course that requires impressive putting. We're going to bet Jordan Spieth outright. 24% ownership in DraftKings is very, very steep. It may get more than that. Not going there. That's why we have to bet the guy. Let the world burn if he misses the cut. Outright is an outright. You don't make money if he finishes second. You don't make money if he misses the cut. It's the same exact result. So he can putt himself out of this tournament. He has been putting very, very poorly. Ball striking, on the other hand, has been fantastic. Recent approach play, 15th in the field. We know what he can do when he's feeling it. He can hole out. He can stick it to a foot. He can do fantastic things. He's also been driving the ball a lot better over the last 24 rounds. Love to see that from Spiethy boy. And then he's just a maestro. Whenever it comes to around the green stuff, he's just a maestro. So I don't have a concern with the majority of his game until he gets to the green. 25% ownership, too much. We go Cam Smith at 15. We've also got, it's kind of crazy how each guy up top here, apart from really Scotty, has got a significant flaw in their game. So that's kind of interesting. Going to see which element of their games are exposed this year. Dustin Johnson, don't have a lot to say about him. He's just been very mediocre. You know, I mean, last 24 rounds, he's 47th in the field. The guy is he's now married, probably even more unhappy than he was before. So that's what's going on with DJ. Xander Schauffele also, if he's going to be steaming up to 16, 20%, 17, 18%, leaving him alone, I don't trust him. He just came screaming up the leaderboard last week after barely missing the cut. That's what he does, apparently. Him and Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy, whenever they get into contention, they shit the bed and then make up for it, which is cool. Like, thank God they make up for it, because we had him in a lot of lineups last week, but he didn't, he could have won the tournament if he just played well from the get-go, but he didn't. JT, Rory, and Xander are those guys. They just get off to these weird, slow starts. They don't have confidence in themselves to initiate the round, and then when the chips are down, they're good. They'll come screaming up the leaderboard. So that's why we're out on Xander. Hideki Matsuyama is also at a really bad price. It's unfortunate that they released the pricing prior to last week, because Hideki also almost won the tournament. Approach play, insane. I mean, he is in the same tier as Judson and Colin, I would say. just so very good recent approach play, baseline approach play. And then, I mean, inside 175, he's fifth. So everything about him is fantastic from tee to green. You know, off the tee, 36th, that's fine, whatever. And then around the green, recently and in general, 29th, top 30 in the field, that's fine. He's got a solid around the green game. And he has the boo-boo, bent putting, 128th in the field, recent putting, 74th, base putting, 139th. So if this guy does not putt well, how important is putting this week? We don't know. We don't know. And for that reason, I'm out. We got it at 21%. If there's a flaw in someone's game, I'm out. It's as simple as that. So, you know, if you're gonna be dipping in on someone at that insane amount of ownership, you got to be so confident that they're gonna be winning this thing. I just don't know if Hideki's, especially on these greens, if they get fast, if they get windy. He's so, I've watched him at Bay Hill miss putts that are inside of 4 feet. Like, it's very, very bad. So he's absolutely capable of just stinking up the joint on the greens, and that's not what we're looking for. Patrick Canttley, on the other hand, 4th ranked golfer in the model. He's also minus 110 on BetMGM, ties paid in full for a top 20. His major track record, a little disappointing. This is an obvious statement that if you're watching golf and paying attention to what's going on, we know Patrick Canttley, not necessarily a major contender. He struggles to step up to the plate. He's not like Colin Morikawa. Colin just comes in, major, all right, I'm going to be one of the best golfers in the world. Patrick also has had injury concerns and things, and it's tough. But look at this, from 175 and in, he's in the Jon Rahm range. So let's actually take a peek here. I've been wanting to do this. It's a really cool thing to see. So let's get right there. Hide this nonsense. And hide this. And then we're in business here, folks. Okay. So check here. Here's Patrick Canttley. And we'll hide this as well. So he has 100, 125, 150, 175. These are the proximity buckets. Hello, Jon Rahm. We have found you because of your glaring red box there in the wedge range. Disgusting stuff. Look at Justin Thomas. Woo, baby. Just even inside of 200, he's just fantastic stuff. And Colin Morikawa just lights it up proximity-wise from all those ranges. Patrick Canttley doesn't find himself anywhere close to even a 1 in power ranking from inside 175. So he's going to be missing more greens than these other two boys up top, yeah? And thank God he's got a really good short game, but he's going to be relying on his short game in a major, and he's evidently had nerves, and that's where nerves come in the most, is in the short game, the putting, the chipping. Those require touch. They require feel. You're not using your big muscles for a swing. We're out on Patrick Canttley. We got him for a top 20. That's fine. You know, if we're picking a guy up top here, we want him to win. So, yes, that is what's going on. Thought I'd just share that. Patrick Canttley, top 20, minus 110, ties paid in full, beautiful stuff. I mean, he putts fantastic on bent. I just don't think he's going to be hitting his irons well enough to really keep his life stress-free and at the top of the leaderboard. I can see him scrapping it around, getting inside the top 10, missing a few greens, not getting up and down every time, dropping a few shots, flitting between 10 and 20th. That's how I anticipate this week going for him. 18% ownership. We got to dodge some ownership. Got to dodge. We can't have all these guys up top here. Brooks Koepka, nothing to do with that guy at all. Will Zalatoris, on the other hand, is going to be a very peculiar play, and we'll keep an eye on his ownership because he is a ball striking phenom that has been forgotten, apparently. At 10% ownership, he broke a lot of hearts last week at the Birdie Fest at TPC Craig Ranch at the Byron Nelson Classic. And it seems like the world's forgotten about him a little bit. He's $8,900, and Will Zalatoris is actually really impressive when it comes to major golf. He was in fantastic contention at the Open, had to withdraw because he broke his wrist basically in the rough. Didn't break his wrist, he hurt his wrist. He plays fantastic golf at Augusta. Putts quite nicely on Augusta surfaces, which are bent. So I think he just nuts up in the majors. We don't have a massive track record on him in the majors, but from what he has shown us recently is impressive. So if people are going to forget about Willie Z, he is the second best approach player in the field. Proximity range, I am very sad to see that because that is the reason we faded Canttley and Rahm. However, if he's under 10%, we'll still go there because he's just so good. He's going to be in the fairways, good drives gained, beautiful stuff. Tidy around the greens. I'm actually talking myself out of it the more I speak about it. I was planning on telling you guys that we're going to play Willie Z if he's under 10% owned. But these wedges just seem like a bit of a problem. Let's take a peek at Willie Z's wedges quickly. Sorry. I'm curious as to what's going on with his... where is he? Here he is. And we can't see what's going on. So, it's his long irons are where he kicks butt. Inside of 150, not so hot for Willie Z. Interesting stuff. Okay, we'll monitor the ownership and we'll see. Sam Burns, we're going to cash that outright out. I just have no good vibes on him. One of his best aspects of his game is his putting. I think he missed the cut last week because he couldn't putt on bent. 11% ownership also, it just doesn't inspire confidence. His approach play hasn't been on form recently. Out on Sam Burns. If we're going to eat some chalk down here, Shane Lowry, I wrote him up in the Breaking 100 article, 35-1 to win this week. He comes into the event with the second best strokes gain total in the last 24 rounds. Shane Lowry. Everything about his last 24 off the tee, 12th. On approach, 5th. But he is playing fantastic golf. Around the green, 28th, and he's been putting lights out, 24th. Now his baseline putting versus his bend putting, not necessarily that exciting, but also it looks like his putter is just living in a different world to what it used to. So I don't know what to make of that. He did play well at Augusta, finished, I think, 3rd on bend. So that is debunked, and he shows up at majors. So understandably, $8,700, 19% owned. I do think he is slightly mispriced in this range. I mean, what is he doing down in the $8,700? I mean, we got so many people above him. So I don't know why, but that is the case, and that's why he's so highly owned. We'll see. Keep an eye on the ownership. If it gets too wacky, we're out of there. Daniel Berger is a great pivot. He sits right in between Joaquin Niemann and whatchamacallit, Shane, who we were just talking about. And we're going to Daniel Berger for a top 20 at plus 190 on BetMGM, tires paid in full. Daniel Berger is just the epitome of like consistency. He doesn't have massive upside. He doesn't have this massive explosiveness to his game, but he just grinds it out. And he's one of the best short game guys in the field. He's 5th in the season in scrambling. So out of bunkers, out of, collection areas, he is fantastic. He's really, really good there. His putting is very, very nice too. And I just think his approach play has been a bit of a concern, which is, it's a problem for me. And he hits that massive power fade at a golf course that apparently you want to hit a lot of draws on. But I don't know. He hits a lot of good drives. That's what he does, is he hits a lot of good drives. And then if he misses a green, he's going to be fine. So if you're looking to pivot off of Lowry, Berger, I like him. Plus 190 for a top 20. Joaquin Niemann, I don't know. Just last week was a concern. Seems like people aren't too perturbed by that. They want to keep going back to him. Bryson, Tiger, I've got no interest in either of those guys. Both coming off the ambulance service, so leaving them alone. Feel free to have as many of them as you want because I won't have anything. Max Homa at 14%. Ball striking, if he has the short game that he showed down the stretch and just, gets himself into contention, but then we're speaking about a major now. He has yet to show up in a major. Also, at one point in his life, he had yet to win a golf tournament, and he's now won 4. So at some point, he's going to be doing well in majors because the guy is just too good of a golfer not to. But 14% of the people playing this game, this wonderful DFS golf betting system situation, think he's going to play well this week. And history has not shown us that he is going to play that great, although the golf course suits his style of play. Gonna fade him though. Tyrrell Hatton also, look at his proximity numbers. 61st. He is a long iron specialist. So that's why he likes the Abu Dhabi courses. That's why he should have played well at Augusta, but he couldn't putt. Corey Connors, 14% owned. I don't know. His worst surface is bent, but he's played fantastic golf at Augusta. He's putted well. He's chipped well at Augusta. 14%, not going to go there. Tony Finau. One to chat about Tony. He had a really, really bad one. Both instances that he's lost on approach have been at the at the Players when the weather was shitty. And it has been when he at the Wells Fargo when the weather was crappy. So hopefully the weather's nice because he is very capable of absolutely taking care of this golf course. From 175 and in, he's fantastic. His around the green game typically is very good, and he putts remarkably better on bent grass. Now, 14% of the population is going to be on Tony Finau. That's okay. We can get different elsewhere. I really like Tony. Matt Fitzpatrick is right there by him. Hopefully he gobbles up a whole bunch of ownership. I'm going to skip all the way down here. I want nothing to do with Adam Scott and his short game. He is just atrocious around the greens right now, and I think he's going to have a nightmare at this golf course. Cameron Young, 19% owned. All the best there, people. Why is Keegan Bradley don't have an ownership? Let's see. Because Keegan Bradley is important. 10%. Okay. So, Keegan Bradley. Let's get into Keegan Bradley's numbers. Keegan freaking Bradley. We had him at the Wells Fargo. He was, right there for us to win this freaking tournament, and he finished second. We're going back to him. We've got him for an outright. We've got him for a top 20 at plus 320 on FanDuel. The odds are like 70 points higher on FanDuel compared to BetMGM. So no ties paid in full, but we're getting a whole extra 70 points. Plus 320 for a top 20. He's finished inside the top 20 in 4 of his last 5 regular stroke play starts. Seems like a bit of a no-brainer. I said the same thing about Adam Hadwin last week, and he had a career worst approach performance. So anything is possible. These are humans. They can just malfunction on an instant. But we're betting like we're going to be doing this 1,000 times, and I would bet this Keegan Bradley bet 1,000 freaking times, especially at this number. Recent form, last 24 rounds total, 6th in the field. He's $7,500 and 10% owned. Sign us the hell up. Look at his putting. Baseline, 140th. Terrible. However, recent putting, last 24 rounds, is 10th in this freaking field. He's been gaining strokes on approach ever since the Players. That Monday round at the Players, he has been gaining strokes on the putting green. He putted really nicely at Wells Fargo, which I believe was also bent grass. So we will see what he gets up to. I have massively high hopes for him. I wanted to make the name of the podcast about him even, but I couldn't figure out to make Bradley a headline, sadly. So maybe I could have done that, but I feel like Cam made a good move there. Keegan Bradley, 90-1. You can find that number out there still to win this tournament. He's won a PGA championship before. His approach play recently has been a little off, but his baseline is 8th in the field. Around the green, top 20. Putting, 10th. Off the tee, 18th. Just everything you could wish for. Bogey avoidance, 41st. That includes his shooting putting ever since 2021. These are long-term stats. And with a crap putter, he still manages to be 41st in the field with strokes bogey avoidance. So I love that he's found his putter. And yes, he gained significantly on the greens at Wells Fargo, but he also never gained on approach in that cold weather. So maybe he switches that around. He's also fantastic from 175 and in. He's very, very good. He's sitting all the way down here in the $7,600 range, $7,500 range. What are they doing? We love Keegan Bradley. Absolutely love Keegan Bradley. So sign us up. He might be one of the highest owned golfers I have. We're getting super aggressive with him. I love him. I love Keegan Bradley. I love Keegan Bradley, his game. Found his putter. And that's what's been holding him back forever. So Keegan Bradley, 90-1, ain't cashing that son of a bitch out. He is looking to contend this week. Jason Day, we saw what he could do at the Wells Fargo. We saw what he can, do at Byron Nelson. Got flashes. He's just flashing. He's flashing. He's got an incredible short game. Putts much better on bent. But who the heck knows what he's getting up to? I don't want Gary Woodland highlighted. I'm not sure why that's the case. Let's get to Russell Henley. Russell Henley is going to be 3% owned at $7,200. The only issue with Russell Henley is the fact that he's one of the worst putters on bent over the last 50 rounds. But that is it. Look at this stuff here when it comes to his ball striking. But pink and blue. Whenever stuff's pink and blue, it means it's inside the top 5 in the field. And his good drives gained is 4th in the field. So he is going to be keeping himself out of the crap for the most part. He loses a lot of strokes gained off the tee due to his distance. However, this isn't going to necessarily be that long of a golf course. The yardage is $7,500, 7,500 yards, but we've got 1,300 of those yards on 2 par 5s that are 3-shot par 5s anyway, which is perfect for him. He's going to be hitting himself into a wedge range, which is 7th in the field. Recent approach, 4th. Baseline approach, 2nd. Absolutely stunning. Very tidy around the greens, recently and all the time. 36th and 34th. Putting, obviously a big issue. Bogey avoidance, 11th in the field. Why is he only 3% owned? I don't know. Maybe he's going to shit the bed at the major again. I can't tell you. But we're absolutely going to go there. Absolutely going to go there. Justin Rose, very interesting character. Nothing about his game screams like we want to go to him. We're going to go to Siwoo Kim, though. Siwoo Kim has been one of our favorites recently. I know my boy T of Sports on Twitter. Go check him out, Spencer. He got me on to Siwoo. I was not Siwooing until I did. So from 175 and in, Siwoo is looking good. 29th in the field, around the green, baseline 12th, recently 40th. Just great stuff there. The putter is obviously a major concern, and that's why he's down 37th ranked in the model, $7,200. But bogey avoidance, 34th. There's a whole bunch of other guys out there making way more bogeys than him, priced way more higher than him. So I love Siwoo's consistency. Off the tee, he's just good drives gain. He's 35th. The approach play is a bit of a concern. It was a bad week for him last week. He actually missed the cut, I think, and let me down significantly. But we don't falter. We go back to him. Siwoo Kim. Going to him. Cameron Tringali. One of my favorite golfers. One of the cringe factoriest of golfers as well. Recent approach play inside the top 20. Nothing to write home about from inside the 175-yard range, but his short game is going to be what saves him if he plays to his caliber of style of golf. He's very good. He's one of the best putters on bent, 7th in the field. He makes the 7th least amount of bogeys in the field. He's at 1% owned and $7,100. So this is why If you go, I figured it out. If you go JT and you go Scotty, the two highest price guys in DraftKings slate outside of Rahm, you're left with $7,100. So that's why we've got guys down here that we really, really, really like. And Cameron Tringali putts fantastic on bent. Recent putting is an issue, but if you go and look through all of his stuff, he has really bad rounds and he has really good rounds. So if you remember correctly, I think he was leading the PGA Championship last year and then missed the cut. Yeah. So he has potential. He just got some head issues. $7,100, 1% owned. He's perfect. We're going to get a whole bunch of guys in the 7K range over here. We're just going to recycle them because we like JT, we like Scotty, we like Colin, and we like Cam. So those are going to be the four guys that we pile at the top of our DraftKings lineups and then just recycle these guys down at the bottom here. I mean, look at his recent approach. Fantastic stuff. Off the tee, that is disgustingly bad because I think that's still got the Arnold Palmer Invitational in it where he lost catastrophic amounts of strokes. So don't necessarily worry too much about that. Go check it out for yourself if you are concerned about his game. We are going to him for a top 40 at plus 175. A top 40 at plus 175 on BetMGM. Ties paid in full. Love that. They've gone top 40s ties paid in full. Absolutely stunning stuff. And their numbers are the best. Go check BetMGM out. Christian Bezuidenhout. We're getting down the board here, people. We're gonna keep powering through. Some more monster. Christian Bezuidenhout, Cinnamon, playing really well last week. Hits it in the fairway quite routinely, and he's actually really solid inside 175. He's got the best short game in the field, one of the best putting baselines, and he's very, very handy around the greens typically. So when things get tight, we're going to go to Bezzy. 7K, 5% owned. Sign us up. My man House Money mentioned that we're going to want to bet Bezzy a top 40. I think there's 155s out there. I have not put that bet in yet. The ball striking concerns me recently. But if he's going to get into 6 out of 10 shots from a range that he's very good at, hopefully that helps. So we'll see what we can get up to with Bezzy. Go check it out. You know, if you like a top 40 bet on him, go for it. We like him in DraftKings as well. Seamus Powers, we've got him for a top 40 bet, plus 140. He is 14th in the model. Recent approach play, bit of a concern for me. However, when he needed to nut up at Augusta to make the cut, he gained like 2.5 strokes on the field on approach on Friday. So we haven't seen Seamus in a lot of majors. I think that was his first at Augusta. Let's see what he can do. Look at this bogey avoidance. Seamus is one of the best putters on bent in the field as well, 17th, and he's been putting very nicely. Gained a lot of strokes on the green last week. He's third in bogey avoidance in this field. So he is a fantastic play for me. I love where his game is at. Look at those good drives gained in general. Off the tee recently, 38th. Love to see that from a guy all the way down the 7K range. He's 14th in the model. So we've got him for a plus 140, top 40, and we're going to be going to him in DFS. Harold Varner, I've put him on the back 9 bets blacklist, but he has been playing some fantastic golf. He's 17th in the last 24 rounds. I don't know what to make of that. I know that for a fact that if we get on him, he's probably going to eat it. So it is a very big concern for me. Ian Poulter, blah, blah, blah. Alex Noren. Let's get down to Alex, Kevin, and Chris. Sounds like we're listing off a bunch of minions, yeah. So Alex, what do we like about Alex Noren? His recent approach plays 21st in the field. We don't necessarily like his proximity numbers, but that's okay. They have not yet caught up to his impressive ball striking that is currently 21st in the field over the last 24 rounds. He's also the second best bent putter in the field behind Canttley. Harris English is the first, and I did not want to adjust every single ranking. It is what it is. It's just one off. Bogey avoidance, 24th. $7,000 flat, 9% owned. 16th in the field, Last 24 rounds total. The guy is playing fantastic golf. Finished 12th last week at the Byron Nelson. He's 150 to 1 to win this tournament. And he's 100 to 1 to finish first on Thursday for a first round leader. And he is 125 on BetMGM for a top 40. Tires paid in full. So that is where we're going with Alex Noren. We are big on him. We are probably going to have him in a lot of lineups, him and Keegan. I really like these guys. I really, really like them. I don't like the fact that he's 9% owned, but also I like the fact that people think that he's playing good golf. Obviously, he is. He's 16th in the field last 24 rounds. So there's that. Kevin Na. Kevin freaking Na. Approach play over the last 24 is 6th in the field, and he's going to a proximity range. Every 6 out of 10 shots for Kevin Na is coming from a spot where he's the third best in the field. He is fantastic from inside 175. And guess what? He's 21st putting on bent. So he putts remarkably better on bent grass. He is so much more reliable, so much more lethal in that department. His recent around the green game is disgustingly bad, but he's capable of being the best chipper and bunker player on tour. The around the green ranking there first is from 2021's 60%, which he led the tour, I believe, around the green. If he gets back to that niche, that's what he does. Everything is suiting his game so nicely. Good drives gained, 36%. He's going to be in the fairway a lot. He loses a lot of his strokes gained off the tee because he is shorter. Now, this golf course, I don't think matters that much lengthwise. He's not going to be hitting a 310. So he's probably going to be a proximity bucket out. So just bear that in mind. But everything else about his game is just stunning. $6,900, 2% owned. Whoo, baby. Talk about probably one of my favorite minions down here. And we've got him for an outright as well, I believe, at 200 to 1. So, yeah, if Kevin Na wins this goddamn tournament, we're going to be in good shape. I think we put like $5. That's the 1,000. You can get $1,000 off a Kevin Na ticket. So I'll be very excited if he wins. And his recent approach play is just stunning. I love to see what he gets up to. Chris Kirk plus 190 for a top 40. Yes, sir. He's the 19th ranked guy in the model, and he's $6,900, 1% owned. He makes the 6th least amount of bogeys in the field. He hits the fairway. 22 is 22nd ranked guy in good drives gained. And then his around the green game is so stellar. He's so very good around the greens. When it comes to putting, a bit of a concern. But he's 42 spots better on bent grass. So everything that we don't like about Chris Kirk is only going to hopefully, theoretically, be better on this golf course. And he fits the mold. He's 6th in bogey avoidance. He's 6th in bogey avoidance. $6,900, 1% owned. Chris Kirk. Holy cow. What are we doing? Let's get after it. Recent approach play, 33rd. Inside 175, 27th. Approach play baseline, 37th. So he's inside the top 40 in all the baseline metrics that we want. And he's $6,900. He's 19th ranked in the model. Makes the 6th least amount of bogeys. And we're going to go to him at plus 190 for a top 40. Hello, Chris Kirk. Welcome to the team. Charles Schwartzel. Whoop, whoop. He has been playing some good golf lately too. Doesn't quite tell you that he has because it's been a lot shorter than 24 rounds. But we've been watching a lot of golf, and he's been doing some good stuff. Look at that around the green stuff. We'd like to see that. Very nice. Very nice for Scholl. That is impressive. His driving ability is very nice too. It's been getting better. There's a lot of poor rounds that are pre-Augusta that are making his numbers not look so sexy. But we like Charles Schwartzel, $6,900. Matt Kuchar. We are going to Matt Kuchar as well. He is 35th in our model, and he's around the green game and short game is stunning. Makes the 25th least amount of bogeys in the field. And guess what? Good drives gained. Matt Kuchar is always there in the middle of the fairway, and he's very, very, very handy from inside 175. Absolutely going to Matt Kuchar, 6% owned, $6,800. Sign us up. We like Matt Kuchar. Let's keep going down the board to some guys that are going to be very interesting. Harry Higgs. Everything about his game screams, I don't know what I'm doing on the golf course until I get to a major. He's played in 2 majors, and he's finished 14th and 4th, I believe. We have a top 20. You can go get yourself a top 20 on Harry Higgs on BetMGM for 11 to 1. When you're saying 11 to 1 for a top 20, that's what Scotty Scheffler is to win the goddamn tournament. Harry Higgs has finished inside the top 20 in the last 2 majors he's played, and he's 11 to 1 to do it again. Yeah. So sign us the hell up for that, and we'll be playing him in DraftKings at $6,500, 1% owned. Yes, sir. All day. Absolutely all goddamn day, Harry Higgs. Anaban Lahiri has been doing something completely different to Harry Higgs and playing exceptional golf for his standards recently. 32nd in the field, last 24 rounds total, and he is going to be in the fairway regularly. Good drives gained is 46th. We like to see that. Off the tee, 27th. Around the green, he's very, very handy. His recent putting, very, very handy. Compare his baseline to his bend putting, it's half the amount of rankings. He jumps 55 spots. Going to a golf course with bend greens, he's actually a very good putter. We saw prior to Sunday at the Players, that's what kept him in contention was his putting. You get into the mix, yes, you can lose a bit of touch on the greens and let him down a little bit. All we're looking for is for this guy to finish inside the top 20 at $6,500, 1% owned. Yeah, let's go on Anaban Lahiri. Let's go on Anaban Lahiri. Scott Stallings made it into the field courtesy of some people's withdrawals. I think it was a Phil Mickelson withdrawal that got him into the field. And Scott Stallings has been playing some good golf, I believe, on the ball striking front. 68th, and he's $6,300. So now look, people, there's going to be, look at all this, look at this bloodbath down here. There's just so much red numbers. However, Scott Stallings' numbers, 64th in recent approach, and he's got a baseline of 48th, which is fine. But we like Scott Stallings' bogey avoidance the most. He's very handy recently around the greens, which I think is why we like him. So that's good. Adam Hadwin let us down in a major way last week. So he's all the way down here now. And this recent approach play has been disgustingly bad. Last week, he had 2 rounds where he just absolutely shit the bed on approach, losing, I think he lost like 6 strokes on approach or something stupid. He was one of the best approach players heading into the week. So we're not going to forget about that. We're going to accept it and move on. He can bounce back. His short game is really, really good. Look at this. He's around the green, recently 13th, generally 23rd. Putting on bent is 50th. It is what it is. Recently, the putting, bit of an issue, but his ball striking is very, very nice, and it's $6,300, 7% owned, going to Adam Hadwin. He has been way up there in the model recently because of his recent approach play. Very, very good stuff. Hopefully he bounces back with that, and we're going to go to him. Then I think our final guy that we have here is Patrick Harrington, whose recent approach play, 32nd, baseline, hot garbage. Don't like to see that at all. But guess what? He putts a lot better on bent than he does in general. And he's $6,100 and 0% owned. So that's what's going on. Just thought I'd run through these guys at the bottom. Blah, blah, blah. What have we got going on? We've got outrights. We've got Colin Morikawa 14-1. We've got Cam Smith 45-1. Sam Burns 90-1. I think I'm going to cash out Sam Burns and Seamus Powers. I just don't see them winning this tournament this week. And I'm going to get myself a Jordan Spieth ticket. I don't want to miss out on that situation. Get the 20 at Caesars. I'm going to cash these 2 out, and then I'll still be within my parameters of budgetable betting. So we are being responsible. And then we've got top 20s. We've got Colin Morikawa, we've got Patrick Canttley, we've got Cameron Smith, we've got Daniel Berger, we've got Keegan Bradley for top 20s. Top 40s, we've got Cameron Tringali, Seamus Power, Alex Noren, and Chris Kirk. So go get those boys. Go get those numbers. BetMGM, they're giving some sexy lines. Paying ties in full. Life is good on the BetMGM side of things. It's the PGA Championship, PGA CAMpionship, and he's going to win it, friends, family, and fans. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the one person. I have no idea who you are, but I appreciate you for watching the whole time. You're my favorite. And we will catch you guys next week. Good luck this week at the PGA Championship, and hopefully we're wearing our $dollar bill shirt next week with a winner.